The storm hit the planet without warning. Acid rain poured from dark clouds, and rivers swelled with water that burned the skin. Trees were uprooted, rocks tumbled down slopes, and the ground turned into a slippery, dangerous mess. In the middle of the chaos, an alien lion fought against the floodwaters. Its massive body was covered in shimmering scales that reflected the storm's light. Its roar was loud, filled with desperation, but no other creature came to help. The lion struggled, its paws slipping against rocks, its tail thrashing to keep balance, and water pushing it toward a jagged cliff. Sergeant Rylan, a human soldier on a mission to rescue stranded civilians, noticed the creature from a high ridge. He had faced many dangers on alien planets, but this sight made his heart tighten. The lion was enormous, powerful, and clearly intelligent, yet it was helpless against the flood. Without hesitation, Rylan grabbed a rope and sprinted down the slippery slope. The wind whipped against his face, the rain burned his skin, and the river tried to knock him off his feet. But he kept moving, eyes locked on the lion. The creature saw him approach and roared, thrashing its massive head. Rylan slowed, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. "Easy. I'm here to help," he shouted, voice barely audible over the storm. The lion's amber eyes glowed with caution. It had been alone for so long, hurt by others who could not be trusted. Yet something about Rylan's calm and steady movements made it pause. The lion stopped fighting the current for a moment, as if trying to understand the human before it. Rylan secured the rope to a sturdy rock, tying a loop to throw toward the lion. The wind howled and the water surged around him, but he held on tightly. "Grab it," he shouted. The lion hesitated, then nudged the rope with its massive paw. Its claws scraped the stone, sparks flying as it tried to get a better grip. Rylan adjusted the rope, leaning into the current with all his strength. The lion yowled, a mixture of frustration and fear, but it did not move away. Step by step, Rylan edged closer, speaking softly. "You can do this, trust me." He tossed another loop, carefully catching it under the lion's muscular chest. The floodwater pulled at the creature violently, but Rylan's grip was firm. He braced his feet, feeling the slippery rocks shift beneath him, and pulled with all his strength. The lion strained, its roar echoing, claws scraping the stone, muscles trembling, but slowly, ever so slowly, it moved toward safety. Minutes felt like hours, but finally Rylan managed to guide the alien lion onto a higher ledge. Water poured past them, rocks slid, and wind tried to push them back, but they were safe, for the moment. The lion shook its massive body, water spraying in all directions, and gave a low, cautious growl. Rylan wiped his hands on his pants, breathing heavily. "You're safe now. I won't let anything happen to you," he said softly. The lion stared at him, its amber eyes studying the human carefully. There was no fear in Rylan, no hesitation, only determination. The storm did not stop. Thunder rolled and lightning split the sky. Yet on that small ledge, human and alien lion stayed together. Rylan found a small cave nearby and guided the lion inside. It hesitated at first, watching him, then slowly stepped in. The shelter was narrow, but it kept the worst of the flood and wind at bay. Rylan knelt beside the lion, examining it for injuries. Scratches and bruises covered its massive frame, and one paw was bleeding. He tore a strip of cloth from his uniform, wrapping it carefully around the wound. The lion did not flinch. It simply watched, its tail swishing slowly. Rylan spoke to it quietly. "You've been through a lot, alone, hurt, abandoned. But you don't have to be alone anymore." The lion's ears twitched, and it gave a soft rumble, almost like a response. Rylan smiled faintly. He did not know if the lion understood words, but it seemed to recognize his intention. Trust would take time, he knew, but this was the first step. The rest of the soldiers set up temporary shelters nearby, rescuing civilians and guiding them to safety. Yet Rylan stayed with the lion, checking on it constantly, speaking softly, and moving calmly so as not to scare it. Slowly, the lion lowered its massive head, sniffing his hand, brushing against him lightly. Rylan held still, letting the creature choose to come closer on its own. It was cautious, proud, and wild, yet something unspoken passed between them, a bond forming from survival and trust. As the storm raged on, Rylan realized that this alien lion was not just a creature in need of rescue. It was intelligent, strong, and capable of loyalty unlike any animal he had ever met. If he could earn its trust, they might become partners, even friends. For now, though, they survived together, side by side, waiting for the floodwaters to recede. The ledge they shared, small and slippery, became the beginning of a new alliance. A human soldier and a magnificent alien lion, brought together by chance, courage, and the storm's fury. By nightfall, the rain softened and the floodwaters began to retreat. The alien lion lay beside Rylan, watching the horizon, breathing heavily but calm. Rylan studied the creature, knowing this was only the first step of a long journey. A journey of trust, loyalty, and a bond that could change both their lives forever. The storm had passed, leaving the planet wet, muddy, and dangerous. Flooded rivers ran through the valleys and jagged rocks jutted out of the soil. The alien lion had survived the worst of the flood, but it was cautious. Its massive scales glistened in the weak sunlight, and its amber eyes constantly scanned the surroundings. Every sound made it tense. Rylan stayed nearby, moving slowly, giving the lion space. He had learned that trust could not be forced, it had to be earned. Rylan brought food and fresh water each morning, placing it at a safe distance. He watched the lion eat, never approaching too quickly. "Easy, you're safe here," he said softly. The lion paused between bites, its eyes following him. It did not growl or attack. It simply observed, curious but wary. Rylan understood that this creature had been abandoned, hurt, and hunted before. His patience was as important as his courage. Each day, Rylan spoke calmly, telling stories of Earth and his life as a soldier. The lion did not understand words, but it listened. It began to recognize his voice, associating it with safety and food. Slowly, it stepped closer, sniffing at his hands and clothes. Rylan stayed still, letting the alien lion make the first move. When it brushed lightly against his leg, he smiled, gently patting its massive shoulder. The lion did not pull away. Rylan began taking small walks with the creature, keeping it on high ground away from dangerous currents. At first, the lion stayed several meters behind, watching his every movement. But as days passed, it started matching his pace, walking closer, glancing at him as if checking for danger. Rylan spoke softly during these walks. "See that cliff? Stay clear. Good, you're learning." The lion tilted its head, watching him carefully. It was smart, faster than humans, but also cautious and proud. The human soldiers nearby were amazed. They had seen wild alien creatures, but never had one respond so willingly to a human. Some were skeptical, warning Rylan that the lion might turn violent without warning. He shook his head. "Patience, observation, respect. That's how trust works," he said. The lion was not just an animal, it was intelligent and proud, capable of understanding loyalty if shown properly. One morning, a sudden flash flood threatened a nearby settlement. Rylan and the lion rushed to the edge of the water. The alien lion froze at first, uncertain. Rylan called to it calmly, extending a hand. "You can do this, trust me." Slowly it stepped forward, moving through shallow water as Rylan guided it. Together they helped stranded civilians reach higher ground. The lion acted instinctively, moving quickly, protecting the humans as Rylan had taught by example. Afterward, the lion lay beside Rylan, exhausted but alert. Its amber eyes met his. There was no fear, no aggression, only understanding. Rylan patted its shoulder lightly. "Good work. You saved them. You're learning to trust, just as I'm learning to rely on you." The bond was growing stronger, built on shared experience, patience, and mutual respect. At night, Rylan set up a small camp near the lion, keeping a fire at a safe distance. The lion circled the camp carefully, then settled a few meters away. Rylan spoke softly as he repaired equipment and prepared food. "Rest now, tomorrow we move again. Together." The lion closed its eyes, ears twitching, and slept while Rylan stayed awake, watching the skies. Even in rest, they remained connected, learning each other's rhythms. Over the next few days, the alien lion began following Rylan more closely during patrols. It learned his signals, when he pointed, when he gestured, when he called. Slowly it obeyed simple commands: stop, wait, move. Rylan rewarded each correct response with food and gentle praise. He never forced the lion. He let it choose, reinforcing that trust worked both ways. The other soldiers started seeing the value of the bond. The alien lion's presence brought confidence and strength. Its instincts and senses warned of danger before humans noticed. Rylan moved carefully, letting the creature act independently when needed. The lion had learned to respect him, and Rylan had learned to respect the lion's intelligence and instincts. Together they became more than soldier and creature. They were partners, ready for the challenges the planet might throw at them. By the end of the second week, the alien lion no longer hesitated to approach Rylan. It would lie beside him during breaks, watch him closely while he spoke to others, and even respond to subtle gestures. Rylan smiled, realizing that their trust was no longer one-sided. The lion had chosen him as a companion, as a guide, and perhaps as a friend. The bond was fragile but growing, built on patience, understanding, and shared survival. The storm-swept planet was still dangerous, with floods, treacherous terrain, and hidden threats, but now Rylan and the alien lion faced it together. They were learning from each other, one teaching patience and skill, the other teaching instinct and courage. Every step they took was a step toward loyalty, partnership, and the unspoken promise that neither would abandon the other. As the sun set behind the jagged cliffs, Rylan sat beside the lion, watching the horizon. The amber eyes of the alien creature reflected the soft light, calm and watchful. Rylan whispered, "Tomorrow we move forward together." The lion rumbled softly, nuzzling his hand in reply. In that quiet moment, the first true bond had formed, a bond of trust, respect, and partnership that would define the days to come. The sun rose over the flooded valleys, casting a golden glow across the wet, jagged landscape. Rylan and the alien lion moved carefully along a narrow path between rushing streams. The lion had grown stronger in the days since the storm, its amber eyes sharp and alert. Its massive muscles flexed with each step, and its claws dug into the muddy ground, steadying itself. Rylan walked beside it, feeling the silent bond between them. They were no longer just soldier and creature, they were partners learning to move as one. Suddenly, a signal flare shot into the sky from a nearby human settlement. The area was under attack. Alien raiders, heavily armed and dangerous, had ambushed the outpost. Civilians ran in panic, and warning sirens blared across the wet streets. Rylan's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. "Stay close," he told the lion. The creature pressed its massive head to his side, sensing the urgency. They ran together toward the settlement, ready to face the threat. When they arrived, chaos ruled. Buildings were damaged, fires burned, and raiders fired indiscriminately. The soldiers tried to protect civilians, but they were outnumbered. Rylan knew that only the lion could turn the tide. He crouched, pointing to a group of civilians trapped near a collapsed bridge. "Get them," he commanded, voice firm but calm. The lion growled low in response, then leaped across the broken bridge with incredible strength and precision. It scooped up frightened civilians, gently nudging them to safety on higher ground. The raiders noticed the massive creature and shifted their focus. Blaster shots flew and debris rained down, but the lion moved with speed and intelligence. It dodged attacks, used its tail and strength to block pathways, and even knocked weapons from the hands of some raiders. The other soldiers watched in awe, realizing that the alien lion was not just a beast, it was a strategic fighter, thinking and acting in ways that mirrored human tactics. Rylan moved alongside the lion, covering its blind spots and directing it toward areas of greatest danger. "Left, cover the civilians," he shouted. The lion obeyed instinctively, rushing to protect the humans. When one of the raiders tried to flank Rylan, the lion intercepted, slamming its massive body into the attacker and forcing him to retreat. Sparks flew as energy weapons struck the ground near the lion, but it did not falter. Its trust in Rylan guided its actions, and its loyalty became clear. The battle was intense, and at one moment Rylan was nearly trapped under a falling beam. The lion reacted instantly, pushing him aside with incredible force. Rylan glanced at the creature, gratitude and respect in his eyes. The lion's amber gaze met his, and for a brief moment, there was understanding. Neither would abandon the other, no matter the danger. Their partnership had passed its first true test. After securing the civilians in a safe zone, Rylan and the lion regrouped. The raiders had been driven off, retreating into the distance. Soldiers approached, amazed by the lion's bravery and intelligence. It saved us all," one whispered, eyes wide. Rylan nodded, brushing mud and sweat from his face. "It's learning to trust me just as I've learned to trust it," he said simply. The lion lay beside him, panting but calm, ears twitching as it observed the surroundings. Rylan checked the lion for injuries. Scratches and bruises marked its massive frame, but none were serious. "You did well," he said, rubbing its scales gently. The lion leaned into his hand, a low rumble of contentment vibrating from its chest. It was no longer afraid of the chaos around it, it had found confidence in its bond with Rylan. Together they had faced real danger and emerged stronger, proving the loyalty between human and alien lion. Over the next few hours, Rylan helped the settlement rebuild. The lion remained close, patrolling the perimeter and ensuring that no stragglers or hidden attackers remained. Its instincts were sharp and its awareness unmatched. Rylan could see the intelligence in its eyes, the growing understanding that this human was more than a companion. He was a leader, protector, and friend. The lion followed without hesitation, trusting Rylan's judgment completely. That evening, Rylan sat with the lion on a small ridge overlooking the settlement. Fires burned in the distance, and the sounds of rebuilding echoed through the valley. "You chose to trust me today," he said softly. "You acted without hesitation to protect others. That is loyalty." The lion lay its massive head on Rylan's knee, eyes half closed. It let out a deep, rumbling sound, almost like a purr, acknowledging the words in its own way. The soldiers returned to their temporary camp, sharing stories of the battle. They spoke of bravery, strategy, and the alien lion's incredible instincts. Some were skeptical that a creature could act with such intelligence and loyalty, but the evidence was undeniable. Rylan smiled quietly, knowing that the lion had passed the ultimate test of trust. They were no longer just a soldier and a wild creature. They were a team bonded by experience, courage, and shared survival. As night fell, the storm clouds from before had cleared, leaving a sky filled with stars. The alien lion remained beside Rylan, alert but calm. Rylan set up a small campfire, its warmth cutting through the chilly night air. "Tomorrow we continue," he whispered. "Together, nothing can stop us." The lion's amber eyes reflected the firelight, steady and confident. The test of loyalty had been passed, and their partnership was stronger than ever. In the quiet of the night, Rylan understood something important. Trust was earned through actions, not words. Loyalty was proven in moments of danger, not safety. And this alien lion, once alone and abandoned, had chosen him as its master, not through fear but through respect, understanding, and shared survival. Their journey had only just begun, but the bond between human and alien lion was unbreakable. The sun rose slowly over the jagged cliffs, casting long shadows across the flooded valleys. Rylan and the alien lion moved cautiously through the damp terrain. The lion's amber eyes scanned the area, muscles tense and ready. Rylan had noticed subtle changes in its behavior. Occasionally it would stiffen, ears pricked, nostrils flaring as if sensing a danger from far away. Something in the lion's past haunted it, memories of fear, pain, and betrayal that Rylan could not yet understand. They reached a narrow canyon where the wind howled, carrying the scent of metal and weapons. Rylan froze. "Something's coming," he whispered. The alien lion growled low in its throat, body coiled like a spring, tail flicking nervously. Rylan had trained for ambushes, but this was different. This was not just a random attack. This felt personal, targeted. The lion's instincts were warning him of enemies who knew its past. Suddenly, shapes moved along the cliffs, heavily armored alien soldiers, armed with advanced weapons. They were from the warlord who had once hunted the lion's kind, seeking to capture or kill it. Rylan felt a surge of anger, but he stayed calm. "We have to move, and fight if we must," he said softly. The lion growled, muscles tightening, eyes glowing with determination. It remembered its past, the betrayals, the fear of being enslaved again. But now it had Rylan, a human who had saved it, protected it, and gained its trust. Rylan led the lion through a narrow path along the canyon wall, using the terrain to their advantage. The alien soldiers fired, energy blasts cutting through the rocks. The lion reacted instinctively, leaping over the beams, blocking shots with its massive tail, and knocking attackers off balance. Rylan followed closely, using his tactical knowledge to direct the lion where it was most effective. Together they became a seamless team, human strategy and alien instinct combined. At one point, the raiders tried to corner them near a waterfall. Rylan's heart raced. "Now trust me," he whispered. The lion crouched, waiting for his command. With a swift motion, it leaped across the rushing water, landing safely on the other side and then helping Rylan across. The alien soldiers hesitated, stunned by the creature's agility and intelligence. The lion's eyes met Rylan's, a silent promise that they would face this danger together. As they moved through the canyon, Rylan noticed the lion's reactions to certain scents and sights. A collapsed tower, scorched rocks, and torn banners triggered flashes of memory. The lion roared, not in anger but in recognition of its past. Rylan knelt beside it. "I know it hurts, but they can't touch you now. You have me and we face them together." The lion's rumble was low and steady, a sound of acknowledgement and trust. It was willing to fight, but only with Rylan by its side. The battle intensified as more raiders appeared, surrounding them on three sides. Rylan used the terrain, leading the lion to a narrow pass where only one attacker could approach at a time. The lion struck with precision, knocking raiders off the cliffs, its strength unmatched. Rylan moved with speed, disarming and disabling enemies, relying on the lion to cover openings. Every movement was coordinated, a dance of survival and strategy. During the fight, the lion paused to protect Rylan from a direct attack, slamming its massive body into a raider just in time. Sparks flew as weapons hit the scales, but the lion held its ground. Rylan saw the determination in its eyes. This was not just survival instinct. This was loyalty forged in trust and tested in battle. The lion's past had made it cautious and fearful, but now it acted with purpose and courage. After hours of fighting, the raiders retreated, leaving the canyon silent except for the rushing water and heavy breathing of Rylan and the lion. Both were covered in mud, scratches and bruises but alive. The alien lion lay beside Rylan, chest heaving, eyes alert but calm. Rylan patted its massive shoulder gently. "You faced your past today and you didn't run. You chose to fight with me. That is strength." The lion nudged his hand, a silent acknowledgement of the bond they shared. As night fell, Rylan set up a small camp near the canyon entrance. The lion circled the area, alert for any remaining threats. The stars reflected in the water below, and the soft sound of the river created a calm contrast to the day's violence. Rylan spoke softly to the lion. "They were shadows from your past. They hurt you, tried to control you. But now you are free, and we are together." The lion's amber eyes met his, glowing softly in the moonlight, and it lay down beside him, muscles finally relaxing. In the quiet night, Rylan understood something important. The alien lion's past had shaped it, made it wary, fierce and independent. But shared experience, trust and loyalty could heal old wounds. They had faced danger together, survived and strengthened their bond. The lion had confronted the shadows of its past and chosen to rely on a human, a companion who had proven that not all beings sought to harm it. By dawn, the canyon was quiet, the battle over. Rylan and the alien lion stood together, scanning the horizon. The future was uncertain, but they had proven their strength as a team. They had survived ambushes, floods, and memories of betrayal. Each step forward would be guided by mutual trust, courage, and a shared understanding that they were no longer alone. The shadows from the past had been faced, and a new path lay ahead, one of partnership, loyalty, and the promise of adventures to come. The morning sun bathed the valley in a warm, golden light. Rylan stood at the edge of the river, watching the alien lion drink from the clear water. Its massive form shimmered in the sunlight, scales gleaming like polished metal. The lion's amber eyes followed him, alert yet calm. Gone was the fear and hesitation that had once marked its movements. Now there was confidence, strength, and trust, a bond forged through storms, battles, and shared survival. Rylan spoke softly as he always did. "We've come a long way, friend. Today we start a new life, together." The lion's ears twitched, and it gave a low rumble of acknowledgement. It had chosen him as its master, not out of fear, but because of the respect and trust that had grown between them. This was more than survival. This was companionship, loyalty, and a new beginning for both human and alien. The floodwaters had receded, revealing the scars of the storm and the battle. Civilians emerged from their shelters, grateful to be alive, and the soldiers began rebuilding their temporary camp. Rylan guided the alien lion through the settlement, letting it meet the humans cautiously. At first, people froze in awe and fear, but Rylan spoke for it, explaining the creature's bravery and intelligence. Slowly, the lion allowed gentle gestures, sniffing hands and brushing against legs. It was beginning to understand the human community it now belonged to. Rylan and the lion patrolled the area together, keeping watch over the settlement. The alien lion moved with confidence, ears and eyes alert, yet never straying far from Rylan. They were a team. Whenever danger arose, a sudden landslide, unstable ground, or wildlife intrusions, the lion acted instinctively, protecting both Rylan and the civilians. Its loyalty was no longer tested. It had chosen its master and home, and it fulfilled that choice with courage and intelligence. One evening, as the sun dipped below the jagged cliffs, Rylan prepared a small campfire. The lion lay nearby, massive head resting on folded paws, eyes scanning the horizon. "You're more than a companion," Rylan said quietly. "You're a protector, a friend, part of a new family." The lion's tail swished slowly, a low rumble vibrating from its chest, almost like a response. It had survived alone for centuries, hunted and abandoned, but now it had a human who cared, guided, and respected it. Rylan spent the night talking to the lion, sharing stories of Earth, of his childhood, and of his time as a soldier. The alien lion listened, tilting its head and occasionally nuzzling his hand. Words were not necessary for them to understand one another. Actions, trust, and shared experiences had already built a language stronger than any words. The bond between them was now unshakable. The following weeks were a period of adaptation and learning. The alien lion began exploring the territory under Ryland's supervision, hunting small creatures for food, and learning to navigate the alien landscape. Ryland trained it to respond to signals, commands, and situations requiring cooperation. Slowly, the lion began to understand patterns of human settlements, safety routines, and even simple signs of danger. Its intelligence, once a source of fear for others, became a powerful tool for protection and guidance. News of the human soldier and the alien lion spread through nearby settlements. Some came out of curiosity, others out of fear, but all witnessed the bond that had formed. The alien lion no longer roared in anger or distrust. Instead, it moved with calm authority, protecting the humans while remaining alert and loyal to Ryland. Soldiers and civilians alike began to respect and admire the partnership, seeing it as proof that humans could form bonds even with the wildest and most feared creatures of the galaxy. One morning, Ryland and the lion came upon a group of stranded travelers near a ravine. Without hesitation, the lion leaped across, guiding the humans to safety while Ryland coordinated the effort. The creature's instincts and intelligence made the rescue quick and efficient. Afterward, it returned to Ryland's side, eyes gleaming with pride. "You've chosen well," Ryland said softly. "And you've proven that loyalty and trust can overcome fear." The lion pressed its head against his shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. As weeks turned into months, the valley began to recover. Humans rebuilt their homes, cleared debris, and planted crops. Ryland and the alien lion remained vigilant, but the sense of constant danger diminished. They had survived floods, storms, and ambushes, but more importantly, they had survived together. Their partnership became legendary among the settlements, a symbol of courage, loyalty, and the strength of trust between species. One quiet evening, as the twin moons rose above the cliffs, Ryland sat beside the alien lion. The air was calm, filled with the sounds of wildlife and the distant murmur of the river. "We found a new life, my friend," he said. The lion shifted, resting its massive head on his lap. Its amber eyes reflected the moon's light, calm and trusting. They were no longer a soldier and a wild creature. They were a master and companion, a family formed by courage, survival, and mutual respect. Ryland smiled, knowing their journey was just beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders alike. But with the alien lion at his side, he knew they could face anything. The creature had chosen him and he had chosen it. Together they were stronger, braver, and ready for the future. A new life in a world that had once been cruel, now filled with hope, loyalty, and the promise of adventures to come. As night deepened, Ryland closed his eyes, and the alien lion settled beside him. The warmth of the campfire flickered across their faces. Both had survived impossible odds, and both had found something neither had expected: trust, friendship, and a new beginning. The valley was calm, the threats of the past behind them, and the horizon bright with possibility. A human soldier and an alien lion, together as master and companion, ready to face whatever the galaxy might bring. Their bond, tested by storms, ambushes, and shadows from the past, had become unbreakable. And in that moment, under the twin moons, both understood that they were finally home.